What's up, guys? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of our videos. Also, make sure you follow us all over social media so you don't miss any of our content or show announcements. That's the change in approach that we need to see from Ant in order for him to jump from that second tier of stars into that first tier of stars. Again, like we talked about earlier, step one, self-awareness. Acknowledge the type of player that you are. Ant is never going to be the type of dude who averages 10 assists per game. A good portion of that playmaking talent is what you're born with. I think that Ant certainly could be a guy who, in his early 30s is around 7-8 assists per game just because he becomes super experienced at making the reads all the time. But I don't see him getting into that apex playmaker tier. So Ant's apex as a player is basically best scorer in the league, dominant perimeter defender, the Michael Jordan archetype. That is his path. So step two is identifying this flaw in his approach. And I do believe that Ant will. I think we're going to see a massive increase in Ant in short range scoring this year, as soon as this season, at the expense of large sample efficiency. Like, I am fine with Ant dropping a little bit in his true shooting percentage this year. His post-up volume needs to skyrocket. I think he needs to lead the league in guard post-ups this year. He's built like a damn tank, and it's going to be something he can lean on in the postseason. Two, he needs to emphasize short-range shot-making in his ISOs. Work guys down closer, 10 feet from the basket. Build out those short step backs both directions. Turn around over your right shoulder. Turn around over your left shoulder. Maybe a left shoulder hook. The advanced footwork, like step-throughs, things like that, short-range scoring. And then lastly, the foul grifting. I may hate that shit. Ant strikes me as the type of dude who probably hates that shit too. But if he could figure out a way to get to the line maybe one more time per half, like maybe just adding pump fakes out of the post or taking some more aggressive driving angles to get into defenders' chests, forcing the ref to blow the whistle. But if he could find a way to get a couple extra free throw attempts per game, I think that would go a long way as well. This is where Ant actually has the capability of one day surpassing a guy like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Those of you guys who've been following the show for a while might remember I got into a debate with the Nerd Sesh guys years ago. It was like 2 or 3 years ago about who had a higher potential ceiling between Ant and SGA. And the truth is, Ant does have more potential. He has to earn it. He has to actually get there. But his size, strength, and athleticism is an absurd tool. He's built like an absolute truck. And he has the potential to build out a bully ball game that SGA could never build out. He has a quicker first step. He's far more explosive at the rim vertically. Ant has the potential to be a much better defender. But right now, SGA is better than him at all those things. SGA is a far more polished post player right now. He's better at using change of pace and counter moves to get all the way to the rim. So he gets to the rim more often and finishes at a higher percentage when he gets there. He's a better rim finisher. He's better at drawing fouls when he gets there. And even though Ant has all this defensive potential, Shai's a better defender than him right now. He's more attentive off the ball. Ant would certainly be better than SGA one-on-one, playing on an island. But who's stupid enough to attack Ant one-on-one? You run him through screens where he can struggle to navigate screens, and you take advantage of his lack of attention off the ball. I think Ant has all-world defensive potential. But right now, Shai is the more useful off-ball defender because he's got good length and he's always in the right spot. He pays attention to the defensive scheme and where he's supposed to be. And that makes him a more useful defender, a more complete defender right now. Now, none of that is a death sentence for this rivalry. Shai is a solid 3 years older than Ant. And if you actually compare the season Ant just had to a season from SGA 3 years ago, Ant is actually considerably better than SGA was at that point in time. So Ant is technically ahead of schedule, but he's got a long way to go. SGA made massive leaps in those 3 years. Ant's got his work cut out for him. I get super excited about Ant because I think his potential is preposterous. We talked a second ago about how Ant's defensive talent hasn't really had high level impact yet, but he has the potential to be like a game breaking defender. He could easily become one of the 2 or 3 best perimeter defenders in the entire NBA if he just got better at navigating screens. And he's got the quickness to do it and the strength to do it. He has the strength to switch onto bigger forwards and switches. And he has ridiculous weak side potential. Jumping passing lanes and protecting the rim if he can just become more attentive and smarter in the game plan. So I absolutely think Ant could be an all defense level player. That's not really in the cards for a guy like SGA, in my opinion. And he's quite literally just barely scratching the surface of his offensive potential, which feels crazy to say, considering he just averaged 28 points per game on 60% true shooting for a full season. When he starts to master like timing on his drives and change of pace and just getting a little bit more methodical with the way he attacks the basket, when he becomes a master short range scorer, which I think is in his future, when he goes up just that little bit of an extra level as a playmaker, just from making the same reads thousands of times, when he starts to figure out how to get defenders out of position to draw that extra couple of fouls per game, he's got a long way to go. But I think Ant legitimately has best player in the world potential. I'm not sure SGA has that. He has the physical talent to be an indomitable two-way force. And the playmaking talent, like when you're looking at these guys in this tier, you have got to be really, really great at multiple things to be the best player in the world. Shai is transcendently great as a scorer, which is enough to move him into this top tier. But he doesn't have the defensive talent to be like extremely good on the defensive end, and he doesn't have the playmaking talent to be extremely good as a playmaker. I think you need to check 2 of those boxes to enter into that conversation with like Jokic, who is a transcendently great scorer and a transcendently great playmaker. Ant has the ability to check multiple boxes one day. I think he could be a transcendently good scorer and a transcendently good defender. That is the pathway to him becoming the best player in the world. I want to be very clear. I'm just talking about potential. I would argue it's more likely than not that Ant kind of ends up as just another guy in the top tier for the majority of his career. But that potential is there. It's going to take obsessive competitiveness, obsessive work behind the scenes, dedication and willingness to do the dirty work. But I do think Ant has all-world potential, the ability to be remembered as one of the guys who took the title of the best player in the world at some point in time. Ant has the potential. In the meantime, I think number 5 is a safe bet for Ant in this coming season. He's going to play at least 75 games. He's going to average at least 28 points per game on at least 58% true shooting, assuming he cuts down on his three-point volume a little bit. I expect him to invest more in short-range scoring. I think he did learn his lesson after last year. And I don't think it would be a bad trade-off if he lost a little bit of that regular season efficiency, but he became a more reliable playoff scorer. And again, like everything, I'm grading him on a curve here when I talk about best player in the world. I mean, he's played 42 playoff games, made 2 Western Conference Finals run, and he is a career 27 points per game on 59% true shooting in the playoffs. That's the guy that we've all nitpicked into oblivion. Ant is in the unfortunate position of being a player in his early 20s who is consistently making deep playoff runs and consistently facing off with experienced superstars. And those dudes outplay him. This is causing everyone to hyper-focus on his flaws, when the reality is he's crushing it for a guy his age.